Jamal Bowman, he unseated Engel. Now, I made the case that in terms of Palestinians, it means fuck all. And then, of course, you'd have people say, well, this is not in the context of Palestine. Yes, it is. If you are getting rid of someone who is sponsoring and pushing AIPAC legislation and Zionist legislation through Congress, and you get rid of that person, I want to know that the person replacing him is not going to do the same shit. Well, he effectively is, because he ain't standing up to AIPAC. He didn't even support BDS. He condemns that, as a matter of fact. So now I want to move on to something else. Are you paying attention to the Senate races as well? So I don't just mean against Pelosi, but you also got against Mitch McConnell. You got Booker. I have an issue with Booker. I have an issue with Charles Booker. Looks great on the surface. Progressive, Medicare for all, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, wonderful. Me, I want to cover him. I want to learn more about him. So I went on his website. I go to his website. There's no foreign policy. Zero. How the fuck are you running for United States Senate and you didn't put foreign policy on your website? You're not running for government in another country. United States, you dictate the world's foreign policy. You're running to be a fucking senator, and I don't know what your foreign policy is. Just go ahead, go look up Charles Booker, Palestine. I can't find a thing. Charles Booker, Syria. I can't find a thing. Charles Booker, AIPAC. Nothing. I go on his website. Nothing. You don't think that's unusual? If that's acceptable to you, we got issues. You see, I'm here to dig through the bullshit. I know he supports Medicare for all. Big fucking deal. I want to know what he supports in terms of sanctions. Is he okay with sanctions that kill people in Venezuela and Iran? Is he okay with sanctions on Syria? Is he okay with no Palestinian state? That's the real shit that I want to know about. This is unacceptable. The United States dictates world affairs. And you're running to be a fucking senator and I don't know what your foreign policy is? This is unacceptable. This tells me that you hiding some shit. Look at this. Medicare for all, Green New Deal, universal basic income, criminal justice reform, immigration reform, voting rights, student debt, money out of politics, economic future, COVID-19, weed, reproductive rights, gun control, LGBTQIA, racial justice, public, and that's it. Where the fuck is foreign policy? Where the fuck is your foreign policy, man? This is unacceptable. No, I'm sorry. This is shady. I don't tolerate this. Now you can come and tell me that, oh, this guy's better than Mitch McConnell. What are you complaining about? I don't give a fuck about you being a bit better than Mitch McConnell. I want to know about the real stuff. I want to know about what your positions are in terms of the United States empire. That's what I'm interested in. And the fact I can't find a single thing, red flag. Multiple red flags. Multiple red flags. You think this is okay? No. What's the point, man? You want to get another guy into the government who's going to keep bombing people? What the fuck is the point of that? That's the biggest racket of all. Oh, it's like no one gives a shit. This is unbelievable. I find this a bit shady. I find it a bit weird. And I know there's people going to say like, oh, well, Americans don't care about foreign policy. I know. That's the problem. That's what I'm trying to highlight. Okay? That's the issue. It's with every candidate, the same thing. I don't care if it's just about the Senate. Like, even if you're running for the House, any election, I want to know what your foreign policy is. How are you running for office in a country that dictates foreign policy, that dictates world affairs, and strong arms, even their allies, and you won't tell me what your foreign policy is? That's just shady. That's just shady as hell. No. That means you either shouldn't be running or you got something to hide. Okay? And again, you got people going to say, oh, but he's better. He's still better than Mitch McConnell. To who? To whom is he better? Once again, you are dictating the world's affairs. So to whom is he better? Specify. Explain that position to me. To whom is he better? Now, if the United States were some isolated, planet by itself, okay, have at it. But it's not. The United States is dictating world affairs. So to whom is he better? Right? Another thing, what about AIPAC? What about that? You don't think favoring the foreign policy agenda of another country is in direct conflict, if you're putting someone in office who works for another government, who is he in office for? It ain't for you. Nah, this is shady. This is shady. Now, look, if you can find something to the contrary, by all means, let me know. I couldn't, and I should be able to find it in 2 seconds. All right? If you were running for the fucking Senate and I can't find your foreign policy in 2 seconds, something wrong with that. I'm sorry. End of story. End of story, man. So this goes back to the whole, but he's a progressive, but they're progressive, right? Which basically means, hey, we're giving you your Medicare for all. Now shut the fuck up. Well, that doesn't work for me. I'm not interested in knowing you just support Medicare for all. I want to know the other stuff, the stuff that no one is asking about. That's what I want to know about. That interests me. That affects me. Do you mind? Have I intruded? It's like, how dare you ask about this thing that, we were gonna fuck you over with? How dare you? You don't think that's a bit concerning? You don't want to know what this guy supports? Whether he supports bombing people in other countries or he supports a Palestinian state? Because the problem is, I don't fucking know. He's a progressive. What the fuck does that mean? He's a progressive. So he doesn't support ending sanctions? He doesn't support a Palestinian state? I don't know what that means. That has no meaning anymore. These are valid questions. I'm sorry. And, if you want me to just lick the balls of any guy who calls himself a progressive, well, we got a problem here because I'm not. The first thing that I look at is where's their stance on foreign policy. What do they say about Palestine? What do they say about Syria? All this stuff. That's the first thing I look at. I know they support Medicare for all. So what? Big fucking deal. Oh, you guys need to fucking wake up. This is not okay.